Hi guys, welcome back to The Bell. I'm your host Koketso. The Bell's a conversation about, promoting women in sports and entertainment and hopefully inspiring you to, make an impact in the sports and entertainment industry. Today we're talking all things sports and entertainment because, usually we've had like a sports person and an entertainment person. Today we have like the perfect merge, the sweet spot, which is Miss Vuyisanani Mangisa.
I'm actually so glad you said my full name.
No, but that's your name.
That's what I like. It's my full name first, and then when we like friends, you can call me by my nickname.
Exactly.
Vuyisanani
Mangisa. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Vuyisanani Mangisa. She's a former South African hockey player, and now trying to make moves in sports marketing. Easygoing person. I think we're going to find out more about me in this podcast without me talking about myself. But yeah, 34, 5 years old. That's me.
Currently training for the Comrades Marathon.
I am indeed.
Yeah.
I'm a person of extremes, I think. It's either I don't do it or I do it. So the middle ground is, seldom. I play there, but I'm very much extreme. So I was like, I'm running, a marathon, and then I'm going to run an ultra, and then what? Why not sign up to
the whole thing?
Greatest race on earth? So I've signed up to the Comrades. I'm training for that. That's on the 28th of August. I'm just hoping I gather enough mileage between now and then to get me through. So it's a challenge. It's a different kind of challenge from my other sporting feeds, but I'm looking forward to it. The training is obviously time consuming. It's not that it's hard, but it's more time consuming, and it's just fitting it in for work, after work, during the day, and
yeah. It's not like back when you played hockey where your focus was just literally hockey.
Yeah, I think when you play hockey, it's that, and that's the sport you know. So this long distance running to me is new. So I'm having to learn while I'm going. So everyone has advice.
You don't give yourself a chance. Like, at least start small. Like Soweto Marathon.
I've done it. So I probably one of the worst marathons I hit it. It's Sunday. Okay. It's hot in Joburg in November. It's like, dude, you're trying to run and you're trying to fight with a mama who wants to go to church, but she knows that marathon's been happening for how many years every Sunday. But now she's gonna fight you. But let me not speak bad about that marathon, but I just don't enjoy it. So, you get a few marathons underneath your belt, but it's like, what's the next challenge? And people have said, Olympians have said, that's one of the hardest things they've done. And, you get a double Olympian who goes, I've done things, but
not like this,
So that's what I'm looking forward to, the challenge.
All right. So let's start over from where... Like you started, the minute you were born, right? Where are you from?
Mthatha, in the Eastern Cape.
How did you grow up?
Born and bred there, raised by my mom, single mom, only child, so raised basically a community of friends and family. Went to school in Mthatha until about, standard 3, grade 5. Then we moved to Kokstad.
Is it still in the...
Kokstad is borderline Eastern Cape, Natal.
Okay.
So it's actually a funny thing. It's like, municipal-wise, they wanted to be in the Eastern Cape, but sport, it was always Natal.
Oh, wow.
So I played for Natal schools. So I went to St. Patrick's in Kokstad. Went to, until grade 11, until I moved to Maritzburg. So because of the hockey and the up and down, so Kokstad is about 2 hours away from Maritzburg. But I had to be there every week for sport.
Okay.
So it just made sense that I should move schools. Okay. Then, finished my grade 11 and 12, Epworth in Pietermaritzburg, which was basically, I just, got there, I'm late in high school, made new friends, and then, finished grade 11 and 12, and then had to decide Marty's, Tux, or UCT. And at the time, I think Marty's and Tux had the best hockey program. That's what I wanted.
So, like female athletes in South Africa, right? If you are based in South Africa and you play for a league in South Africa, that means your sport is not the only form of income you have. So how did you get into the second income?
Pretty much every single sport. Actually, when I think about
female
athletes, we're all holding down other gigs while we're trying to train. It's mind blowing how we actually do it. So I prolonged my undergrad at Tux to a 5-year degree, which just worked out well. And I mean, Tux were quite happy to have me for 5 years and have me like do 2 modules a semester type thing. And then after that, I moved to Joburg from Pretoria, and then it was a case of just training for some time, and I was okay with that. And then I met a gentleman by the name of Calvin White, who ran Frontier Sports and Entertainment at the time. And he basically said to me, you know, what are your interests, what do you like? And I kind of told him it's like sports, marketing, and the business of it. Yeah. So he was like, okay, cool, come work with me. And then when you're around, but you also give you the flexibility, which is not like leave days, it's just go. You need to go overseas on tour, whatever, if you need to train in the mornings and in the afternoons. And that was the best like setup I could ever have. Earning some money, but at the same time getting exposed to like some crazy stuff. So I went to some wild meetings, meeting people in the sports industry.
That's so nice.
And just learning about it firsthand.
Yeah. I like that, you know, like sports marketing. There's something about storytelling in sports, you know, and it helps when you need to amplify athletes. And I don't think that's not being done. Like, you know, there's a lot that could be done, right? Because we have so many athletes or heroes that their stories have not been told. So,
and I think everyone wants to tell them the same way. In a documentary, we don't need documentaries only. There's so many avenues of storytelling we need to go into and expose. It's not everyone's going to land a 40-minute, 50-minute documentary.
So what would you suggest?
Man, like this, like podcasts. Okay. Let's get into podcasts. Let's get into short format interviews. Put them on YouTube. Like that's free stuff.
Yeah.
And then write as well. Right.
Okay. So who do you put the onus on? Like in terms of like telling the story of an athlete? Is it the athletes themselves or also the media companies?
Both. It's us as well. We must be willing to tell our stories, also tell our stories ourselves.
Okay.
And as I say, unfortunately, not all of us are going to get a book deal or a documentary deal. So we then needing to put out our stories ourselves when we want to. You know, that's the important thing. And I think we create enough friends in media and opportunities to go, actually, I want to tell this, help me write it, or help me speak it, or help me put it on a podcast or on a video, and do 2-3 parts and put them on YouTube or on your own channels. So I think all of us want to gain commercially from a storytelling point of view, and I think that's a bit naive to think we will all all gonna get a book deal or a documentary deal with money. And let me tell you right now, also those guys don't get a lot of money from said deals.
Oh, okay.
So let's leave that avenue and explore other avenues to tell stories.
Okay, I like that.
And also get the stories to the people, man. Like, that's one thing I realized is that when you put them on mainstream TV, they're only going to reach a certain audience. So we need to explore how are we then getting to a wider audience.
Okay. And, you know, you mentioned how, like, they don't really get, you know, that much paid for documentaries, but like if you put your stories out there, there's so many endorsement deals that you can get from that.
100%. And it's like advertising around the documentary or whatever, or your short format video, advertising on a podcast.
Yeah.
It's never, I don't think, you know, in South Africa, you're not going to walk away with millions from a deal for your story. Let's say, even like I think Sia Khaleesi is going to like maybe cut a deal with Rock Nation, get his story out, but he's not getting rich on it.
That's fair.
Right, yeah.
That's fair. So now I want to go back to your hockey career, right? You also played in the Olympics. You forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I mean that little
that little part.
So I make the national team 2006 December, and then from then on, it's about staying in the team.
Yeah.
It's one thing making it; you always have to stay in the team. And I was lucky enough to stay in it for 10 years. That spanned
That's great.
And that spanned Commonwealth Games, World Cup, Olympics, and then I think I called it quits on my terms, which was always something I wanted to do to make sure I was ready. And some people were like, "You're young, carry on." I remember
How old were you?
I was 27.
What? That is crazy.
And
you're like, I was done.
I think I was done, and there was nothing more for me to achieve. And I say this like because I understood where South African hockey was at the time, that we were not going to get professional into a full-time program with contracts and stuff. So we were doing what we were doing, how we were doing it in terms of camps play. And what I started to realize as well is that the world was getting ahead of us. So let's say the gap was like that big. Other teams were getting national programs and getting better. And the gap starting to widen because also South Africa's far, guys. It's in the south of Africa, not even in the north. It's in the south of Africa.
All the way down there.
So if an England team goes to Belgium, they can play Belgium and Netherlands in the same weekend on a Friday and a Sunday. You know, they can have 2 international games against great competition. No one's coming here for 2 games, or we're not going to Europe for 2 games. So that kind of thing, it started becoming like the national program is not going to change. It's not going to get money in the next couple. And what more do I want to achieve? Like, I've done it all. We're not going to do it better. We're probably not going to move world ranking based on this, how we're prepping and playing. And then I was just like, I'm done, man. This has been good. It's taken me around the world. It's been great, but Kisha.
What advice would you give someone who's trying to make it to the Olympics for any sport, really?
Sure. The Olympics is your highlight, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot in between that. And when I say there's a lot in between that, there's different tournaments you must go to. There's different. First of all, get into a national team.
Yeah.
Whatever sports you're playing, and then after that, get your world champs of each sport. Get to that. And then, put up the times or get into a team to make the Olympics. As I said, it's a pinnacle of all sports outside of each like World Cup or national championship. And we make a big deal out of it because it's probably the one sport where, for example, I walked into the dining room in 2008, I picked up my tray right before me, Serena Williams picks up her tray as well. And I'm just like, it's a one tournament where it levels everyone.
Yeah.
You and Kobe Bryant, you and the young LeBron James.
You guys are all athletes.
Yeah, I sat there and I turned around and there was LeBron, there was Kobe and Carlos Boozer at the table having their McDonald's, and I was just, that was my first meal at the Olympics in 2008, and I was like, this is wild. Yeah. But that's the thing, it was just a level.
How do you prepare for that though? Because physically, like they tell you, work hard, eat this, you do have a plan, but like mentally?
So you speak to a lot of people who've been, and I just say the lights are bright. I've always said like, the lights are bright at the Olympics and don't get caught out.
Okay.
So when I say the lights are bright, it's exactly that. You're gonna bump into different athletes. You're gonna, like Usain Bolt was always a friendly guy around the village. You're gonna bump into him. At the end of the day, have those days. We get there days in advance before we start competing.
Yeah.
Have those days where you explore the whole village. Everything is free at the village. There's vending machines that are free. This is free. You get your haircuts. You go to get your nails done. There's a lot. So explore the whole village and all the amenities that come with it, and have fun in the first 2-3 days, and then your focus shifts again. Okay. Your focus must shift to why you're here. You're competing, and you've worked hard to compete, whether it's for 10 seconds if you're a sprinter or 4 or 5 games if you're a hockey player. But remember that, and if you can get that right, the balance of not getting caught up in the lights and remembering why you're there, you'll succeed. And also the thing about Olympics, and the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and federations as well, you're seldom going to achieve in your first Olympics. That's just done. Like, you look at the stats, there are athletes who go to 2 Olympics before they get a medal, or go to a Olympics before they get the podium finish. Or you would have to go Olympics, Commonwealth Games and National Championship, and then the Olympics. So you need to
it doesn't happen like that.
Exactly. You need to do senior tournaments, a lot of them first, before you get to the Olympics and podium, because it's different there. There's the light, as I said, the lights are bright. There's more people watching. The competition is higher. The turnaround time, it's 16 days of competition across. Yeah. So there's a lot going on. Your family, your friends, and you need to focus. I remember 2016, the England women's hockey team changed their numbers. So they all got different numbers when they got to Brazil. And literally like 2 or 3 family members knew what number they were on. And that was it. That was a level of focus. They got off social media. And then they changed their numbers and their WhatsApp numbers, actually, because you could change at the time. You didn't have to keep your number. And then that's literally for 16 to 20 days, they lived a life of focus and made sure that that was what their job was about. And that's what you have to do in Olympics.
I like that.
Keep the main thing.
Exactly. So now you decided to retire, right? You had like an incredible career as a hockey player, decided to retire. I'd like to know, how does life change from being a professional hockey player with all the perks that comes with that, and then just being like your normal citizen?
It's a slap across the face.
Wait, what?
It's a slap across the face.
Oh,
like you wake up and I like, the routine is gone.
Okay,
the routine of training is gone. What you know to be real is kind of gone, because you need to identify yourself as Vuyisanani Mangisa, not Vuyisanani Mangisa, the hockey player.
Oh, okay.
Which for a long time after that, you're still getting introduced as, from the South African hockey player, but now you're also trying to create an identity
like
outside of that.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. It's not easy because you're attaching yourself to this hockey player identity. But now you want to, because you want to make it big, whether in corporate or your own business, whatever, you want that to be the leading identifier of what you do.
Kobe spoke about that actually.
Yeah. You need to like shake that sport monkey off your back and realize that there's more to you. There's 100%. More to the person. And it's difficult because a lot of people say, athletes make the best employers because they know they're diligent.
Well, they grind, you know that.
It's rubbish. But I promise you now, I'll tell you why that is rubbish. We don't know the environment we're going into. And I find that's rubbish. Like, yes, there are certain principles we take from sport and we put into careers. Hard work, diligence, commitment, consistency, and attention to detail. But guys, like, I didn't know the systems at work when I got in. It is a new, like, ask me about hockey, I'll tell you everything. Ask me about sport, I'll tell you everything. But now I'm in a new environment. I don't know the systems here. I'm having to like work with deadlines, as different deadlines. I'm having to put teams together, this, that.
And corporate just has its own language.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness.
And then you have to learn. And someone goes, we'll do the GTM, and it's a go-to-market plan, and you're like,
what?
Just speak English. And you find it hard, and it's a hard transition. And I tell a story where we used to be sponsored by Virgin Active, the South African national hockey team. And one day I walked into the gym, and my card declined. And I was like,
what's this like?
And it declined. I wasn't allowed in the gym that day. And from then on, I was like, I have to pay for gym membership.
So you never had to pay for gym membership until you retired? And you're like, oh, goodness.
What's this? Exactly. But it was like, it's something small, but to also realize that part of my life was done. Because now, like, I'm off the books. And I think I rode it for like 4 months afterwards. And then until I was taken off the system, because now I'm retired. And it was like, okay, you're done. And I said to him, sorry, but I'm sure that card is.
But what do you mean?
It's declined.
Surely
the contract
your system is the problem here.
Yeah, and you want to fight with the guy, but I was like, he was right. I was off the system, and I have to move on. But it's a metaphor, I guess, for life changes.
Yeah.
You don't get invited to certain events that you were invited to. You
brand deals.
You're exactly that. Money where you were getting money from. And as I say, you've got to now identify as whatever your next is. You try not be that sport person only. Look, you'll still get away with a lot because you're former national hockey player and Olympian, and people respect you for that and take your phone calls and stuff like that. But at the same time, you're really trying to craft your identity in your new career and be damn good at your new career as well, because that's the level of competitiveness I have and other athletes have. They want to excel, but I think maybe we put too much pressure to excel within the first year of a new gig, and it's never.
Because you're so used to being
high performance. If you want to perform high at a high standard and really always be pushing out your best.
Yeah, no, I do get that. So I'm assuming when you decided to retire, you already had a job waiting for you, like because you were already working in marketing.
Yeah, right? when I retired, I was at Adidas at the time.
Yeah.
Very lovely job. Basically ran activations for running. That was very nice job. I did a lot, got to see a lot, put on some of the best events that we rolled out, launched some epic shoes, so it was a cushy time. So that was at Adidas, and then I just walked away for a year from Adidas because I was like, I want to go study. So I went to Vega.
Okay.
So I resigned at Adidas 2019, early 2000, no, actually, 2018, but into 19, yeah. So I was at Adidas for all that time, and then I resigned because I wanted to take a year off and go study.
Oh, so you were a full-time student?
Yeah, some people were like, do it part-time. I was like, guys, no, I know I'm not going to do that. Because also the hours were wild sometimes. You're launching a new show at Adidas, and we needed to stay at the office at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, but I would have had lectures. So the balance, and also for me, I would have had to do that over 18 or 20 months, and I was just like, I can hardly commit, man, to that. I want short-term commitment. Let's do it. Let's get it done. So it was a year. It was 10 months effectively from Feb until November. I was at Vega. It was the best time of my life. 30-something student. 30-something student at Vega with youngsters. Like, my eyes were open to like another kind of student life. I was like, this is fun. Go to lectures, after lectures, just chill with the youngsters. And I was the oldest in the class. Chill with the youngsters.
What did you study there?
Strategic brand marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fun. It was a year course, postgrad. So yeah, literally I had time of my life, traveled a little bit at the same time because I didn't have to be in class the whole time, and I also had holidays. I remember submitting an assignment from Paris. I was like, I could do this. So that was fun. And then after Adidas, I kind of had it in my head all mapped out in terms of I was going to I got a job opportunity at Betway, so marketing operations throughout Africa. And it was a maternity cover at the time. So I had it all figured out. I was like, I'm going to do 6 months at Betway and get off for a year. For a month, which a month would then lead me to Olympics and go watch 20 Olympics for a month, and then come back and try to find a job. And then the pandemic hit, so I stayed at Betway. They were happy to have me. I was happy to stay. And then after Betway, I'm now at Thackwell Whittaker, TNW, which is a creative and storytelling and marketing agency. We do a lot of cool stuff. Chasing the Sun,
of course,
Two Sides.
So
those are the long form stuff, but the short form stuff as well. We work with one of the projects I've actually just finished on was Laureate Sports Award. So every single video that you see at Laureate Sports Award, we're responsible for. So that was a fun, can't wait till I actually go to the awards, but that was fun to work on. Some Springbok work, different brands, athletes. So it's a lot of fun. Enjoying that at the moment. That's what I'm, what do you call a business unit lead for sport? Because it's split into sport and entertainment.
So what does that mean?
So basically, business unit lead, I'm responsible for, call it the sports side of the business, because it's split, as I said, split into sport and entertainment, work that we do creatively. Manage the projects and the business that comes in on the sports side. To make sure we've got the right teams on, the right project managers, creative output. We do the job for the client and deliver on time within budget. So that's what I'm responsible for at TNW. So it's a lot of responsibility. Got to keep the money ticking in, but also the quality of the work that we do is so important, and we hold ourselves to those standards. It's quite hard because you need to deliver. Things need to go in the air, but at the same time you need to maintain a great creative standard at the same time. And that's what's probably set us apart from the market, is that we really do tell stories quite well. We've got a great people that work for us and great creative teams.
I mean, we all watch Chasing the Sun, and right now Two Sides is very entertaining. So it's good. I wanted to ask you, so for someone who wants to get into the sports storytelling or marketing side, do they need to study what you studied, or like you can study literally?
I'm probably an outlier.
Or what would help?
Exactly. I'm probably an outlier because I literally studied a finance degree at Tux, and then learned everything I know on the job. And then.
But are these companies open to just taking anyone from?
So, I don't think so. Not a lot of them. Some of them you have to be have studied, especially in the young.
Yeah.
You need to have studied this stuff. But sometimes people come with such comprehensive CVs without have studied what they do, and also comprehensive work. And we can just show pieces of your work, and I've done that. It's like that's what we.
You understand.
You understand. The book side of it, I think for me, going back to Vega opened up a different world to me in terms of that, and also just Vega, the opportunities and who we were seeing daily in terms of brands, in terms of agencies. That was like, okay, cool, I'm glad I did this because it just exposed my knowledge even more. So I'll definitely, sports marketing, probably, do a finance degree, do a creative or like strategic marketing degree as well would help. And then just expose yourself to content out there in the world. I think we're probably not doing it as well as we should. The American market is the other guys that are doing it. The NBA doing it very well. So we need to be looking, NFL does content and storytelling really well. Look outside of just our market. Expose yourself daily, weekly to different stuff. Consume a lot of content and see what's good, what's bad. How would you make it, or how would you tell it differently? Okay.
And then are there internships?
There are.
Okay. So which internships should people look out for? Like the ones that are consistently, like like I don't know, they put them out annually.
I think different agencies and also different brand, because it's if you sit on the agency side or on the brand side, do different internships. I really like those that work across the spectrum of the business, so that you're not just an internship in the creative team. You get to see the creative, you get to see the script writing of it, you get to see the business side of it, the POs and the CEs and that kind of stuff. Because what then happens, it exposes you 360. And then you start to be like, okay, I don't want to do that, but I want to do that. Can I get into that? So I'm all for internships that really expose
Which
people.
Which one would you recommend to our viewers? Audience.
I think Adidas still do some good internships. Agency-wise, we've got a good internship program as well at TNW, just exposing youngsters to storytelling and making. I feel the other agencies, I think FCB were doing something. In terms of agency world, off the top of my head, that's the ones I can think of. I think it's about trolling the internet and seeing what's out there.
So we're about to finish this interview, but before I do that, there's some rapid fire questions.
I love these.
Love it. And of course I know you, so I design them specifically for you. Alright. So basketball or football? Yeah, I'm starting hard. I don't even
basketball. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. Messi or Ronaldo? I don't know this one, so I'd like to
Messi,
see.
pure athlete. Messi.
Please, why?
It's just there's talent there like you will not believe. Watch Messi on the ball, off the ball. There's Ronaldo. I think we were blessed and lucky to live in an era, in the time that they both play. But in terms of what he does with the ball at his feet, give me Messi any day.
Sparkling wine or wine? Oh, this is so easy.
Both I can't. Me and my wine. I absolutely love wine. I love sharing wine with people. But a glass of good old Chardonnay for me. That's probably where I'm at.
And then lastly, in terms of sports storytelling, Nike or Red Bull?
Nike.
Really?
Motive, great storytelling, great athletes to be able to tell stories with some of the best agencies in the world. And they have consistently done emotive storytelling and marketing well. Like they are the benchmark. Red Bull, great content hubs and do very well to work with some of the best people in the world. And some of the stuff they do is cool. But if you're gonna give me pull at the heartstrings while selling me something, and not even selling me
they
something.
Don't sell.
I was about to say,
it's a feeling.
You're selling an emotion. You're selling a feeling. You're selling Serena, LeBron. You're selling Casta. You're selling the beauty of women in sports that we can achieve. You're selling, the first ever athlete to break a record. You're selling emotion. You're not even actually selling emotion. You're selling emotion, and I am buying into it.
All right, and then lastly, who would you like to see on the Bell podcast?
Probably two women that I'm looking at the moment doing quite key things. Or Maputi head of brand at Yoko at the moment. It's not sport, but wow, they're doing some cool things. Entertainment, they're doing some cool things with small businesses in South Africa. And probably Mobile Gama at NBA. She's probably doing some cool stuff. They're rolling out some great brand partnerships with throughout Africa. We've seen some of the stuff they're doing with Hennessy. They've signed a deal with KFC now. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. The African market, I believe, is quite important for NBA, and how they leverage and get that right is going to be important in the next 2 or 3 years. And we've seen those with the different tournaments that are coming, but also how then we do exchanges of knowledge between America and Africa and certain African countries to be able to grow the sport. Because the NBA it's got a big footprint here, and they do some good, cool things.
All right, Sanani, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. Where can people catch you actually?
I'm on socials. Definitely, I'd love to throw an opinion on Twitter at Sanani Mangisa. Opinion about sport, about wine, what you're doing right and wrong. I'm happy to be challenged there. And then on Instagram as well.
Alright, so follow Sanani on Twitter, Instagram at Sanani Mangisa. Thank you for your time. Good luck for your marathon.
Thank you.
In August. If you guys want to catch that as well. Are you going to be documenting it? I think
the last, I'll be on 98 days now to go today actually. So I'll be sharing a little bit of the next couple of 2 months, probably the June and July. I'll share a bit of that. It's exciting for me. It's a new first one, new world. So as I said, so many people want to give advice, and sometimes I'm like, thanks. But I will filter what I can and just share what my experience is as I train for this. It's also an interesting one. Comrades is usually in June. Now it's in August, which means we're training through winter.
But is it not better though? Imagine running that long in winter.
No, I'd rather run in winter than train in winter. So the mornings now are dark, and they're about to get darker, and the evenings are also about 6 o'clock.
I hope you're safe.
I'm running with groups of people. Safety numbers. But it's going to be interesting when it gets to mid-July, when you have to get out of bed at 4 a.m. in the morning to go for 15, 20 Ks. I'm going to have
dedication. Life of an athlete.
Dedication and consistency.
Thanks again, guys, for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and thanks to the Lost Alpaca for actually hosting this. So thank you. Bye.